All right, boss says we are going live, so I'll call this meeting to order. Thanks everybody for coming. Need a motion for the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, public hearing to adopt fiscal year 2025-26 budget. Need a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open.
And I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any written comments? Verbal comments? You don't know what we're talking about? I've known you for a lot of years. You've been that way a lot of years.
You're right. You're right. I mean, I know are we raising taxes or are we cutting taxes? That's all I was.
Taxes are going up. They went down last year. Yeah, House File 718, the dirty 30, which we weren't one of. So we were already under their marks, and they still made us go down. So we could come back up this year, and next year we're going to have to go back down again because they're apparently going to keep House File 718 for one more year. Going up this year, and they'll go right back down next year. A total of percentage. You want a percent? So we went from 339 on basic to 3.5. Rural from 295 up to 372. Now you want dollars? I thought you wanted percentages. Total increase in our budget is 1.9 million. And almost all of that is insurance shortfalls, wages, FICA, and IBRs. So just to meet our current services. We cut a lot. We ain't cutting any services. So we cut everything we can out of the budget. We just had a department head meeting. All the department heads are getting stingent on their overtime and knuckling down, reusing what they can reuse, fixing what they can fix. Ultimately, you've done this. Some things you just can't fix. Sometimes we got to get new stuff. So IT is a big issue. We're
Maintenance on the ground was really cut back. I'm not saying that it's good, but we manage so many payments.
We are working on that.
yeah, we have a whole new. That's the department that's going to be doing a revision on all their services, putting a little more restrictions on, a little more supervision on. So come up to the microphone. I'll make you walk. You want to come up to the microphone, Nick, so we can hear you? Make sure the boy don't trip you. Yep, that'll work.
Well, you mean they're gonna? I mean, I'm not complaining, but it looks like to me somehow we can. These maintainers cost a lot of money, and I don't know, like how many maintainers Wapple County have?
8.
8. Do we need 8?
He's actually looking going down to 7 routes, combining some routes, but he's got to work.
I mean,
But we agreed not to do that.
Right.
We will
not to do that.
Yeah, we are going to go with 8. Keep 8 on.
I'm just going by in my operation. Technology has really changed a lot of things in everything we do, and I know this equipment's technology smart and can grade and you can go faster and you can do more for less. And I mean, you know,
But typically the road graders are the least senior guys too, so they are always learning.
I've seen a lot of that learning. I mean,
So the NACSR, they have a training schedule. They're bringing a guy down that's going to follow them and actually train them on a day-to-day basis. So to reslope the roads, get them back to 26 foot wide like they're supposed to be.
well, that's what I'm saying is, you know, a year ago you guys give us, I don't know, $5,000 or $6,000 to push snow, and who makes? I watched this happen, and it really bothered me. They paid us money to scoop snow, and because we needed to get to our hog barns, and we're keeping the same amount of maintainers. We used to be able to maintain snow and get things opened up, and then,
Yeah, but not 26 inches of snow.
well, yeah, but then somebody made the call. They hired a bulldozer to come in, and my road right by our shop goes north. I don't know what road it is. They hired a bulldozer. There's no one lives on that road. There's not one person lives on that road. They hired a bulldozer. I don't know what they paid him, but to open that road up down to, well, I suppose Scott Durflinger's got cows or something down there, but there's two ways to come in. And I'm just saying, are we doing a good job managing these?
That
we
went,
we will be from here
Yeah.
on out. Yes.
yeah, that was an
So
emergency situation that
so tell me
lasted a few days. So
what you're doing from here on out. What's changing?
So one of the things we've done is Brad Skinner is our new secondary road engineer.
Okay.
When the snow occurred, it was back with the old engineer. So we've got really a whole new management team in place at secondary roads. So that should make quite a bit of difference because Brad Skinner was very seasoned in county road engineering. And on our budget for the roads, new budget is 1.4 million increase for roads this year.
Okay, what's that gonna? What does that do for me? 1.4 million
Well,
for the roads. Does it give me more rock? Does it give?
the combination of what we're all talking about, of a new engineer.
So he's getting a lot more money.
Well, so
no,
he can,
we're on a sharing contract with Appalachia County, so we're actually paying less for, but he's only here part time. So,
Yeah.
but he's also recruiting a replacement to take his place, part of his contract. So
So we got two guys.
we got one, but he's recruiting a person to take his place, a certified person. So when he leaves, he'll train. He's got the other guy trained. That's part of his deal.
And right now, the county pays 60% of his wage. We pay 60. The Appalachia County pays 40%.
We've had just one guy in the past. Is that right?
Correct.
yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, that was the guy you dealt with.
I mean, are we? You know, I always look at down the road. Are we doing anything to service any roads? Are we doing anything for long-term capital expenses of the county? Are we?
This engineer has extremely detailed plans from 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and then things keep popping up and changing. Like we have to build a new road for the railroad. We weren't planning it, but now, and we have to build it and it has to be asphalt.
The railroad for
Because
what's that
the
happening?
Quincy Place crossing, they're going to take out, or not Quincy,
One day.
Rocket Fuels.
Yeah, the rocket fuel.
And we have to have a blacktop road to get the fuel trucks into the depot. So, but railroad's paying almost all of that. We just have to, it just takes time away from our guys because we have to build that new road.
Well, last night I had an accident out on south of or north of agency, another insurance. It's 5 o'clock. A county truck pulled up. I hit this car that I hit, bent over a stop sign. 4 guys got out of a truck. Took them less than 10 minutes. They drove a post in, put a stop sign back on. It was gone.
4.
And there's 4 guys standing there. I got out of the truck and I thought, 5 o'clock. Is it county workers done at 4
4:30.
o'clock?
4:30, they're done.
4:30 they're done. So I don't know. I just see things, little things that I see that I don't know if we're not. I don't know. I don't want to be a
Like I
complaint.
said, nope, that's overtime was the big talk that every department's overtime was cut. So to manage overtime better. So
I mean, how do you do overtime? Do you?
every department head is in control of their own overtime. So how they run it. So because every department's different, what they
I'm
what they
asking
need
like
for
a
overtime.
real stupid question, but okay, I've watched Jefferson County the same way. Okay, they did put a culvert in, and it was quitting time. They quit, and they left the job, and they come back the next day, and 2 hours later, next day they had it done, and it seemed like it took 4 or 5 hours to finish the job. And can you do like crediting, like if you work 10 hours today, we're going to give you 2 hours somewhere else. Can you do it? Is that being? I heard it was being done once, and I don't
Well,
know.
here they're on 10-hour shifts, so they're on 410s through the
Okay.
summer. So
Well, I just say is, if a job
the idea behind that is they actually get 3 to 4 more hours in a
Oh,
work
absolutely.
week.
Yep.
So
That
we
was
don't,
my only complaint. I said,
you know,
these guys come back the next day and they,
that's one of the, even their workers' complaints that they get to the point where they should be able to get done, but they have to leave because they can't work overtime. So then they got to come back.
but can
Then
you,
you have to haul equipment back and forth. So
yeah,
that's one of
yeah.
the things.
And you got
All
to take,
these angles is what we're looking at for people to shave off that time. So be
well,
more productive in less time.
I mean, I don't complain too much, but I
Oh,
just, you know, just, I had an accident yesterday because the
I
roads
could
were
have
so,
swore you yelled at me for 45 minutes on the phone over
I
this stuff.
did. You
Uh,
remember me?
well,
Okay.
I remember you because I went, your boy was laughing about it.
Well, and then yesterday I had this accident and they graded, I seen two maintainers on that road that goes to Dahlonega, or we farm up there. There was two maintainers there maintaining that road. Dustier, the son of a gun. Okay, well, I hit a car, had an accident, but I was shocked that there was two maintainers maintaining that road. I don't know. I didn't know
If they're working a project to get done quicker, they will.
I don't know. I'm just
It ain't like the old days where the road graders used to go down the wrong direction. We had better roads.
yeah.
Now they can't go the wrong direction for liability. So
I don't know. I just man maintainers. This equipment's so expensive and
yeah,
do you,
like 600 grand for a new road
yeah,
grader.
it's just stupid. I mean, that's what I'm saying is uh, some of the things that you guys got going on long term to keep the expenses down. Are you running them longer? Or are you?
We're planning way years ahead. Have been. So that's
Oh,
we're
good.
planning stuff that we probably wouldn't even be here to see. So
Well,
you got to put the wheels in motion, as you know. Just you're
well,
not
you,
going to go buy a new combine today. You have to plan for it
yeah,
when it comes.
budget somehow somewhere. And what do you? You know, I've been a little bit out of touch, but I've been reached into this wind energy. Is that you think that's going to be a go in our county? What's the feelings there?
The
For
state,
you guys are going to make those decisions,
the
right?
state's actually looking to making those decisions. So like hog confinement. So they're they're debating it now.
Yeah, but
We
aren't you
we did have a meeting last night with planning and zoning. And so the MSA is supposed to have a draft ordinance at the May meeting.
like?
And I think that will be May 12th. Is that right, Jared? Yeah. May 12th.
I mean, do you think we're in or out? I mean, you guys, I'm sure, sitting here and all the other few of the other counties around are not
They're
in
not
favor,
yet. But
and
even those counties that did do it, if the state passes it,
They're going to be
they'll be
required
doing it.
to.
Yeah.
Yes.
what do you have to go along with the state? Is that the way that works, or do you?
You were a state legislator, weren't you?
No, I tried to be one, but I,
Yeah. No, that's
you
it's
don't
just
have
going to be the
control of
same
this
deal as a
county.
hog confinement. So if an individual, if Chad has ground and he wants to do it by state law, he can do it. The county wouldn't have any say in it, just like a hog confinement.
Well, a lot of say so in these hog confinements.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be rules the state's going to set, and we'll just have to go within the parameters of what they set. So
So, so you guys won't be then
Well,
really.
in the meantime, we're not waiting on that. We're working at getting the ordinance moving forward. And it could be something that we deal with by July of this year.
Will that be a waste of time though if the state comes in or not?
that's what kind of MSA is waiting. That's why they're putting it off till May because they're supposed to be hearing this at the end of April. I think it's very unlikely too. It won't pass for years probably. Too many counties are
And so it's
fighting. So,
not a waste of time for us to go ahead and act as we know.
yeah, we're still on our schedule that we have set up to do.
Can you guys act? I mean, can you
Well,
say
we're still going to do an ordinance.
you are?
Yeah, we'll still go through the whole procedure through planning and zoning. When they get an ordinance drafted, they'll give it to us, and then we'll have 3 public hearings.
Don't you think that this, to me, um, my thoughts is with using hog confinements and wind energy to put them together. I don't know if that's true.
It's kind of the same thing to some people. Just like one of the guys said last night. He goes, if it's a hog confinement and it's yours and you live next to it, you have to smell it. If
You're
it's a
right.
windmill, you should have to live next to it too. He said. So
Well, my thoughts is that windmill is helping our schools, our churches, our counties, and to
unless they
me,
change the word,
and to me, what's
unless they change the state law and the state takes over all schools like they're proposing.
Well, that could be too, but I just was,
Yeah, there's a lot of things in play that I wouldn't have known about if I wasn't sitting up here. And
but if we didn't turn the lights on today because we didn't have energy, we'd be scrambling for energy
yeah,
somewhere.
those windmills aren't going to run these lights.
Well, maybe they're going to run somebody,
They'll run the East Coast. Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
To me, it's power and money and somewhere. And you
Somebody's making it. Yeah.
talk about budgets. My guys are telling me that,
That's part of the planning ahead, because even that money we won't see for years.
well, to me is like I had this discussion in Jefferson County because
It's a long-term fix. What you're talking about, it's a long-term fix, but it won't help us the next few years.
yeah, but man, you could if
So
you
we
know
have
it's
to keep
if you
this
know it's
stingent
out
for
there,
the next few. So
yeah. Anyway, I just see things that,
good thing I didn't cut you off at 2 minutes.
yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, hey, uh, just I just want you to be
I'm just gonna
concerned.
remind you what your wife said. Be nice.
Yeah, just concerned to be take care of all these taxpayers out here.
We're trying, because I'm
All
a
right.
taxpayer too, as
Yep.
we all are. So
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
thanks,
Thank
Nick.
you.
Thank you.
Don't call me this winter.
Don't call you.
No.
I won't call you collect.
Thanks, Nick.
You bet.
Anybody else?
Speak up. It's your turn.
Yep, you might as well.
So my question is on the salaries for elected officials, will there be any adjustments made to that?
I'm proposing an adjustment, yes. But
Will that happen tonight or is that part of a different process?
So I've talked to Darren and we have agreed that us three are gonna sit down and have a meeting to discuss that. So everybody's on the same page.
Can you elaborate on what type of adjustment you're thinking of making?
since the budget's already set, we can just take the money you're talking about, and we could probably slide it into another slot, use it for overtime, something within that department's budget. That way we don't have to alter the budget amounts.
Is there going to be a set, because this seems to be a precedent, is there going to be a set policy on when elected officials or other department heads can get additional money on top of their salaries?
A set policy,
Yes,
we can write a policy.
Work on one, absolutely.
because
If you want to send me an example of what you're looking for, I'll send it to Galloway.
I have no idea, but I just don't think that, I mean, Nick brought up a good point. You're looking at all the lines on the thing and you have department heads who are asking for additional money, substantial money. In the last 3 years, one elected official has received, if that adjustment had gone through, would have received $7,500 in additional money on top of their salary. They already received $5,000 2 years ago. So for basically doing what it says in the code is their job. And it's really, I mean, as an elected official, I feel that the salary that I get is good enough. And yes, I go above and beyond, but these are the people that I answer to. And if they don't like the job that I'm doing, they're going to vote me out. They're going to make sure that their voice is heard. And I just feel that it's irresponsible for a department head or an elected official to ask for additional money for doing the job that they are required to do by code. Just my 2 cents.
Any other verbal comments? Thank you, Lisa. All right. Brian never speaks unless he's told to. Motion to close public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Resolution 12-2025, adopt fiscal year 2025-2026 budget.
I'll make
Mhm.
a motion to adopt.
And before I second it, can I make a comment? Just,
Yep.
It'll be brief, but make a comment. I really feel the budget's not perfect. It can never be perfect. But as a team of the three of us, I feel like we have been really diligent in tearing it apart and putting it back together this year. And I appreciate Carrie for one thing, because she was new to this process and she really dove into it and did a good job of understanding the whole aspect of it. And our challenge is really, this is quite complicated. There's different categories and different things you got to think about. And then you also got to think about what the state has done and what the state's going to do. It makes it a challenging process for sure. And I appreciate the hard work of everybody that went into this. So with that, I will
you.
second the motion.
First and second, do we have a
All right.
Aye.
aye, aye? All right. Number 3, personnel, request for payroll approval of new hire, Veterans Affairs Director.
I'll make a motion to approve.
What's the name?
And
Kim Evans.
and I'll second. Do we want to hear any comments before we?
I believe he's already at school in Des Moines, correct? For VSO training. I think this young man sitting here, he knows that process, right? That was your brother, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was me, but
Oh, yeah.
issues with Buffalo County.
Well, hopefully that problem's being fixed. So
Yes.
The commission's worked very hard to get things figured out, so we're good.
when you think he'll be up and running himself? So
He already has his trip training. He did that on his own because he was hoping to get a job in the VSO somewhere in the state. So he did that on his own. No cost to anybody.
well, because we've lost some veterans going other places, we need to get that publicized and that things are turning around. Because I think he concurs. So
You can.
all right.
What's that, Nick?
Yep. So we have a first and a second.
He came here from Arizona. So he doesn't know anybody in the area, so there's not favoritism given. We didn't like there. Very confident.
All right. So we have first and second. Need them aye aye or nay nay?
Aye.
Aye aye.
Aye, aye.
All right. Any other business officer reports? Chad?
So I want to go back to the budget a little bit. Darren, you said earlier that you knew that it was going to go, the levy rates were going to go down next year. How do you know that this far out?
Talking with Travis down in the assessor's office, our values aren't going to meet unless something dramatic happens, changes. The projected is going to go back. We won't have a high enough assessment. So
Right. So even with, the the revised, I guess, property tax bills that's kind of floating around in the legislature.
it sounds like that the last deal they just had at the courthouse or state, they put the new tax bill on hold because they figured out there's too many holes in it. So I don't know if you read it. Instead of a rollback, they gave everybody a $25,000 credit. So if you had a $100,000 house, you were going to pay taxes on $75,000. But if you had a $700,000 house, you're going to pay taxes on $675,000. You weren't going to get that big rollback you got before in your taxes. So even though they thought they were low on people's property taxes, they finally figured out your property taxes are going to go up
Yeah.
dramatically.
So they're basically going to stay with House File 718.
718, which is a real close. I mean, I can't say that. I almost said it.
Yeah.
Whoop. Cop mouth.
So based on that, then they'll go down.
Yeah. According to what I just met with Travis yesterday, because I wanted to have an idea when we come into this. So based on what we got so far, we're not going to meet it. So to go.
Right. Carrie, I had a question for you.
Absolutely.
Just kind of tell me like what your experience has been like going through this budget process coming from a municipality. You know, it's a little bit different, a
is a
smaller
little-
town, but now you're working at a multi-million-dollar budget.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
lot more money. It's a lot more complex than a city budget. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Yes, it is a way bigger budget than the city of Alden. A lot more complex, a lot more departments, a lot more money. So yeah, but we went through it line by line item. So we cut where we did, where we could.
and I'm sure obviously didn't want to raise taxes on anybody. It's been
absolutely not.
years since they've
I'm a
done that.
taxpayer like everybody sitting here.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And that's, things have just been on the back burner for years. You can only repair stuff and fix stuff for so long before it's got to go. So,
Yeah,
and we just got in at the right time where everything got to be changed.
yeah. So was it like stressful, Carrie, going through all this, or
No, I didn't think it was terrible at all. I had a lot of questions,
yeah?
obviously, yeah. So, I mean, our tax rate in Eldon's like the 8.1%. That's our max. And
Mhm.
so you got your supplemental and your general basic here. So, yeah.
So
was-
like, what's kind of the one thing I guess if you kind of reflect on it that really stuck out to you about the county's budget? I mean, you know, they've done a really good job in the past of really
Mhm.
keeping their levies consistent,
Mm-hmm.
you know, through different mechanisms and carryover balances and whatnot. But I guess when you look at kind of what's taken place here over the last, 2 or 3 months, what was kind of the one thing I guess that, coming in from the outside was a little bit eye-opening for you?
It was eye-opening for me.
Anything that
There are
really stood
several
out?
things that I was not aware that the county actually pays for, that they are required to pay for. One, jail. Inmates, they don't have health insurance. We pay all the medical bills for those jailers, the people in jail. Yeah, that was a rude awakening for me, and it costs the county a lot of money for that. I don't know if anybody pays attention to that, but it's very expensive. That was the one big eye opener that I had.
Mhm.
They can't go on Title 19 when they're in jail.
We just are trying to get the legislatures to do Medicare and Medicaid while they're in jail.
Mm-hmm.
But it stops the minute they go in, and it starts as soon as they get out.
Yep. Prescriptions.
Prescriptions, yeah.
Yeah.
And when they come to jail, they all have prescriptions that need filled.
Yep.
You wouldn't believe the amount of drugs they haven't had
Medical bills and
that
prescriptions.
they're supposed to have, not the ones they have not supposed to have.
Yeah, that was the biggest eye opener. I had no idea that the county was responsible to pay all of that. And the amount of money that we are actually paying out of the county to send prisoners out of the county.
Yeah, our jail's full, so
Mhm.
we house our prisoners somewhere else. So it's very expensive, and then we have one inmate that we can't even get to prison because he's in the hospital, and we're paying for that. So until he gets out of the state won't take him until he's out of the hospital. But they don't want to pay for it.
Do you get any services like, the Army, when they go to the hospital, when they pay when they leave, they get a 50% discount?
We get
Can I get that?
we do get the Medicare Medicaid rate, but that's about the extent of it.
Is that negotiable? What do you think?
No, not from what I understand. That's the lowest rate we can get that I've because it's been a discussion for over 2 years that to try to figure. We brought in different nurses, trying to bring nurses into the jail instead of taking inmates out of the jail, and then that works for a little bit until the nurse doesn't want to come back. I mean, how long do you want to come see these guys in jail before something happens, spooks you, and you don't want to do it no more? So. But yeah,
Anything
it
else,
is
Chad?
very expensive.
That's all we got.
Okay.
That's the first.
I could talk all day.
Well, you quit. I didn't know. So, all right. Do we have anything else? No. Where the red light's on, push the red light
Push the button.
on the bottom there.
Oh, here. Okay. I just thank you, Lisa. I just want to say thank you guys for taking the time. We are kind of in a position, and I want to thank you guys for coming and voicing your opinions too, because that means a lot. And it just means I just want you guys to understand the position we're in with these house files and all that. We've had a lot of backfill that's been cut that we're not receiving, and it's harder on the counties. And so we've all had to tighten reins, and we feel for you guys because we're taxpayers as well. I just want to thank everybody for the parts that they've done in this and helping cut back and everything. And it's tough, and it's tough to explain to your employees why you got to cut back things too. You can't give them overtime. You got to give them flex time. It's just a lot. It's a lot of heartache. And I don't think that half of the people out there understand what we go through trying to make this budget work and to not put a burden on taxpayers. I mean, we've all got a burden and it's tough. So just thank everybody for your concern and thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Even though we're very tight, we are a lucky county too that we are not in a situation some of these other counties are in. So there's counties around us that are on the verge of going under, basically. So thank God we're at least where we're at. So, all right, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And thank you everybody for coming. Thanks, Nick, for your comments. Thanks for your comments. No, stay in Jefferson County.